What's up, everybody? This is Hippie Dicky Moon. When I want to watch something super groovy, I tune in to Squared Circle.
Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is April 14th in the year 2015. I'm Hollywood J. Williams, along with Mr. Ruckus himself, Mr. John Zimmerman here.
That's correct.
We have the skeleton crew here. Dangerous Dan Hoff is off this week, home resting up here.
Yeah.
So we wish him some get well soon.
Yep.
Let's just put it that way.
I made it in herniated disc and all.
Wow.
So I'm not feeling too well, but we'll get through it. We'll get through it.
And this is, as everybody knows, spring has sprung, and that brings on the allergies. So guess who has allergies?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm not allergic to any monkeys or anything. I know that because there hasn't been any around in a really long time.
There you go.
I don't know where he went.
Where'd you put him?
Saru's, you know what? Saru's causing the ruckus, but we won't talk about that.
Saru's causing a ruckus.
Yes. Yes, Saru is definitely causing a ruckus. But
See, he's trying to up his grade from B plus to A plus, maybe.
I think so.
He's trying to get me to, think maybe he'd be a good television champion.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see if he makes an appearance anytime soon.
We'll see. Last night, Monday Night Raw emanated from the O2 Arena in London. And what's up with this? As a man of English descent, on my father's side of the family, I'm a little, besmirched as to how come every one of these English superstars was attacked and beaten up last night in London and on their home turf.
Cheap Heat. Cheap Heat is good. But besmirched, wow. Was that on your Word of the Day calendar?
That's a William Regal. I suppose if William Regal was there,
I think
he would have gotten beaten up too, right?
I think in the history of the show, that's the first time you've said that.
It's beat up the British night. It's what it seemed like last night.
Okay.
In the I don't know. Maybe Cena defeated Wade Barrett. But John Cena defeated Wade Barrett. Well, I guess that's kind of cheap heat too, because when Wade Barrett came out, that was a huge pop.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was a huge pop compared to Cena was booed out almost out of the whole country.
Well, that seems to be the trend now, is to boo Cena no matter what he does.
Right.
So, but he goes with it. He's still getting his paycheck, and he's happy.
He's happy. He defeated Wade Barrett in his defense of the U.S. title. The U.S. title match taking place in London, England.
Right.
Right.
Well, I mean, look at the history of the U.S. title. How many people that are not from the U.S.
have had the
U.S. title?
Right.
So it's just what they call that belt. I mean, they used to have the European title as well,
right.
But now it's just another title belt.
Exactly.
They should bring back the cruiserweight, but
maybe they'll bring back the cruiserweight. Maybe I wouldn't have a problem if Saru decided to vie for a cruiserweight title. He's got his niche following.
Yep.
So why not?
Yep.
Also, I believe we have a phone call here.
Oh, this is the one we've been waiting for.
You are live on the Squared Circle. Hello, sir.
Yeah, this is Jason. How are you?
This is Jason. This is Hollywood J. Williams. This is Jason Knight.
Yeah.
This is the Squared. This is the Squared Circle. Thank you very, very much for calling.
Anytime.
Yes. I'm glad you called. Our other co-host Dan arranged for you to call tonight. He's not here, unfortunately. But how's it been, man? You're not living in Connecticut anymore, I understand.
No, I'm back in the New York City area.
Okay.
I'm actually more originally from, so kind of back home. Connecticut was nice too, but it's good to be back home.
Well, this is John talking. I'm Jason's co-host. The first thing that we want to know is how is your health these days? Because I know back in January that you announced you were battling throat cancer.
Well, actually, it's fine. I mean, everything's going well because everything is being taken care of pretty much by the numbers, and I'm not really. I tend to downplay it a little bit more because, I've been really lucky, and everything has been turning out pretty well. Let's just say that it could have been a lot worse. So.
Yeah. Well, obviously, if you're not aware, we're huge fans of Joseph von Schmidt and everyone at PWA. And PWA is nice enough to let us sponsor their television title belt, and it bears our name. So, Joseph, when we heard, we rallied behind you, man, and with the power of prayer, hopefully helped you out.
Well, I most definitely believe that it did, and I appreciate it all. Like I said, things turned out a lot better than I expected they were going to originally, and thank goodness for that.
So, I mean, in addition to Joseph von Schmidt, you trained Velvet Sky, who's right now working a lot of work with Northeast Wrestling right here in our area, and Frankie Stars, Kurt Adonis. It's just the list of guys that you've trained, guys and ladies, I should say. Mercedes Martinez is really impressive.
Thank you.
And tell us about Johnny Rods. Now, you were trained by Johnny Rods, is that correct?
Well, actually, I was retrained by Johnny Rods.
Okay.
I mean, I would say I fine-tuned everything over there because I started training. I started training for professional wrestling in 1977, and at that time they had several small gyms in a certain part of Queens in New York. There were small gyms, and they featured some pretty good people there. I mean, they were good at what they did. However, at the time, you really needed to be trained by someone that was recognized by the State Athletic Commission as a trainer. And at the time, unlike now, you really had to be a somebody. So all the years that I was trained in these other places really couldn't get me, as they say, to the dance. And then in the 80s, I went to Johnny Rods.
Yeah.
Never really told him that I trained elsewhere because, I felt that it would have been, I saw the difference between their gym and his place.
Okay.
And, I wasn't about to say, hey, look, I come from this other place and, I'm already trained and what have you. So I kind of started getting retrained. And my former training helped me.
Okay.
However, it was night and day. And, I mean, going to Johnny Rods and then later on to Bobby Bold Eagle was the correct choice because these were the super professionals of the time that, one can only wish that there were more like them these days.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's just amazing because there is a good amount of very successful people in the business even today that were helped by Johnny Rods and Bobby Bold Eagle.
Yeah. Yeah.
The guy that I trained with, after I trained with Johnny. So, I mean, it just goes to show you that it was different back then, the old school style. We just took longer, but lot of attention paid to details.
Yes.
I'm pretty much kind of like you see now. It's almost like a crash course compared to the way those guys trained us back then, and compared to the way that I continue training people myself.
Right, right. And my son is actually a student at Joseph von Schmidt's PWA, and I witnessed firsthand Pete's style of training, Joseph von Schmidt's style of training, and of course you're familiar with Bull Dread as well, and I see Bull Dread over there working out with the guys and the kids, and it lends from one generation to the next, and I'm sure the guys and gals that you trained are going to carry that tradition on, honoring guys like Johnny Rods, yourself, and Joseph von Schmidt, and then the whole next generation is going to take the building blocks that you guys have handed them and just expand upon that.
Well, we can only hope so, because that's exactly what the future of the business needs. And in fact, it's in the dire need of that.
I agree, because when you're watching the current product, it's really not as dynamic as it once was.
No, I think WWE tends to have one style, and that's it. And it's like it's their way or a highway, basically.
Right.
Well, I guess when you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you can pretty much command that sort of style and way of working and all that. But that's why the business is really not being taken very seriously, and everything is being taken as what it is, just a lot of predetermined spots that are never ending and really don't make any sense. And this doesn't really, I don't think that this should bear a reflection on the great young athletes, because they're tremendous at what they do, and it's not their fault that they're not being educated correctly.
And they're not being utilized to strengthen their talents.
Right.
Well, you spent some time in ECW, and I really liked the model that ECW had, because you had the cruiserweights and the high flyers, and everybody had their own different style. So it wasn't like one match mirrored the next. I mean, you had guys like the Sandman, who pretty much was a brawler,
right,
and more of a street fight. And then you had, the lucha style and the cruiserweights coming in, and it was more of a technical wrestling. So you had a little variety, rather than the same style for 10 matches in a row.
That's where all the luchadors, Paul Heyman and ECW, brought them all in first.
Yep.
And Eric Bischoff took them in later.
You got to realize that each and every performer that worked for ECW over the years, they were all highly trained professional wrestlers.
Yep.
They just had a different look. And, it wasn't cookie cutter like you see it, especially toward the end in WCW, and, like you see it in the company. Or are there any companies, or is there just one?
Well, in WWE, TNA is far behind them, and behind that is Ring of Honor.
Right.
And then you have more of the independent guys.
Right. I haven't watched wrestling in many years. But,
I don't think you're missing very much.
Right.
I can tell. Yeah, it's just not for me anymore.
Right.
So in any case, all these people were highly trained professionals. It's just that the looks were different. So we did have guys like the Sandman, who he was trained just as well as anyone else, and guys like you, Jack, and Mahoney, and Axel. All tremendous wrestlers. I mean, they can definitely perform in there.
Yeah.
However, with their look and their style, they worked differently.
Yep.
So there's a misconception that some of the ECW guys were not really good technical wrestlers. I mean,
Right.
you know, that's far from it, because, you know, they wouldn't have been in the business
Right.
unless they had gone through, you know, their ABCs.
Yes.
It's just, that, you know, there were different attitudes and different, you know, it's just like, you know, for instance, my character that I played was a guy that really didn't care to get in there and wrestle, which is far from it, because that's exactly what I love to do.
Yeah.
I hated to manage, but, you know, I had a job to do, and, you know, whether I like it or not, I had to do what I needed to do in order to
Right.
stay there and earn a living.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that, you know, that's the difference between then and now, and that company and everywhere else. And then, you know, we obviously had guys like, you know, Todd Gordon, who was very passionate about helping out in the business, and, you know, he brought in Paul Heyman, who, you know, obviously he's a super genius, and then everyone else that helps him in the office. Well, that's you know, that's good and bad, but still, you know, be that as it may, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a definite combination and an effort combined by everyone that got the company over. And unfortunately, it lasted under 10 years. But, you know, I mean, I'm sure that ECW was designed to last
Right.
longer than 10 years, because, you know, guys like Heyman, Raver, and Taz, you know, and Raven, you know, the Office guys,
Yep.
they had a plan to move on. They weren't about to stay there and hang around. So,
Right. And
It made its mark, that's for sure. It's a permanent part of history. And
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
definitely.
it's just something different.
Well-
It stood out.
there's never been a company that has lasted a shorter amount of time and carried so much impact with it for forever.
right.
I mean,
Yeah. Agreed. And you know,
yeah,
with
they
the
got companies,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, there are companies that, you know, that were around for 50 years, and, you know, don't carry as much legacy as ECW. It lasted nearly 8 years.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And now with the advent of the
Definitely a great resume for someone.
yeah, you know, with the advent of the WWE Network, you know, a lot of these matches and cards that we didn't have access to are now available to us. And you know, I like that the newer generation of wrestling fan can go back at the touch of a button and watch, you know, something that they maybe hadn't seen growing up. You know,
Exactly.
they're too young to have lived through it. And you hear the stories and you read the books, and you know, and you talk to some of the guys. Like a little while back, I had the pleasure of meeting New Jack, but you know, to go back and be able to see the matches and see the promos and everything that was going on is really awesome. And I think that's really the best draw of the WWE Network is having that library available to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, it's, well, personally, I use YouTube
Yep.
because I really, how can I put this without, you know, making too many waves?
Yep.
I try to have as less to do with WWE,
Yep.
only because I don't like endorsing their product.
Okay. Fair enough.
Well, you know, just because of personal reasons.
Yep.
And that means really nothing coming from me, but, you know, personally,
Oh,
that's how I feel.
absolutely.
Only because, yeah, you know, only because, like I said, because of my own personal experience,
Yep.
because my own personal experiences and the way that I see that other people were treated, that and are being treated, that are still there,
Yeah.
that deserve so much better, you know. And like you said, you know, I mean, this has absolutely no bearing on the talent
Yep.
of the past and the present. whether they started there recently or whether they're in a capacity of work in the office. I mean, absolutely nothing to do with the talent, because they're told what to do, and they
Of
have
course,
to
of
follow
course.
the rules in order to make a living.
Yeah.
So I'm just strictly talking about the whole machinery
Right.
that is broken down.
More
And,
of the corporate background,
yeah, exactly.
corporate environment than the actual sport itself.
Right.
Exactly.
What have you ever
So-
considered writing a book and getting your story out there? Because I mean, the list of achievements and people that you've touched is so long. We'd have to have 3 hours of the show.
I think so.
But have you written anything
know.
down or considered it?
I write things down, just spur of the moment, but
Yeah.
not really, because it's been done so many times, and it's like a dead beaten horse. That might have been something to consider years ago when it was more of a novelty, and now everyone that has gone through the business for like over 2 years, he's writing a book. So
Right.
I don't know, I feel that in a way the business has been cheapened by that. In a way, in one way, not in a way, where the people that truly have business,
Yeah.
writing about their lives and everything, all their experiences. But I mean, there have been too many put out there that, like I said, someone that has been in the business for like a cup of coffee, and they're already.
Yeah. And that was kind of.
And then
I
and then
kind
the
of
second
buried.
one, and the third one, and the fourth one. And it's like, okay, excuse me, dude, but how many lifetimes have you lived?
Right. Well, I mean, I kind of buried it in the question because there are guys out there that haven't had nearly as much experiences and nearly as much influence in the
Right.
business as you have, and they've got a best-selling book out just because of their name recognition. But your accomplishments are such that not only what you did personally in the ring, but the influence that you had on everybody else that you've touched in, not just in Connecticut, but all over. And I mean, we're friends with Ron Zombie's been on our show, and Just Incredible we've had, and you've touched the lives of all of these talents in one way or another. And I really think that your story is a lot more poignant and important than some of the guys, like you said, that had barely had a cup of
It
coffee.
could be.
You
Yeah,
know?
it could be, but the problem is, I mean, I'm trying to be realistic about the whole thing. I enjoyed a moderately successful career, but over a long period of time.
Yep.
And to me, it's a reward versus someone that just pretty much exploded on the scene and then lasted, say 5 or even 10 years.
Right.
Not
Right.
in business. Because it takes you about 10 years to become a good professional in the business to know what you're doing. You know?
Yeah.
And to me, I don't know. I almost feel as I have, in a way, discouraged about that whole thing, and I've never really, I've never really, and this is not crying the blues or anything like that.
Right.
It's just stating a fact.
Yep.
I never really had that one push that I've always waited for, and just that something that would be like, this is it.
Right.
And this can help me, carry over for a long period of time, and it's something that really, really been known. Was it really the ECW TV title? No, it wasn't, because we weren't really out there as much.
Yeah.
When the company exploded, I was already well into my 30s.
Yep.
And they were bringing in guys like Credible and these young guys. And it was quite frankly my job to help get them over,
Yep.
and then perhaps move aside and let them run with it, and hoping that there was something left for me to do. I mean, you know, I'm just being honest and truthful, and this is no one's fault. You know,
Yep.
I'm not faulting.
Right.
I'm
Right.
not faulting.
Oh, absolutely.
No.
The guys that I worked with, you know, just those that have brought me in '93, and that all of a sudden felt that, hey, you know, we're gonna keep him around for this and that, but you know, I never really got that. You know, even the memorable match I had working with a girl. And, you know, I'm selfishly, you know, putting over a very talented young lady, Jazz, you know, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
still,
Remember
you know,
Jazz?
I mean,
Yeah.
everything was more about, oh, Jazz, you see this, oh, you know, so it was almost like, oh, yeah, you know, Jason versus Jazz, but then, you know, she exploded on the scene, and then I was, you know, put back down again, you
Yeah.
know, and the back burner again, now Jazz's fault. You know, it's the fault of the office.
Right.
Not
Right.
saying, hey, wait a minute, you know, I mean, the son of a bitch is hanging out. You know, I mean, you know, he's been loyal. He's hanging in there. He comes in looking like $1 million each and every time.
Yeah.
You know, so let's do something for him versus let's punish Jason for being pissed as I was and then, you know, breaking a few rules.
Right.
It didn't mean that I was showing up, you know, I was getting discouraged of showing up late and, you know, my attitude was like, you know, they were like, well, what do you think of this? And I'm like, I don't know, what do I think? Well, you know, you're not showing enthusiasm. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to show you any enthusiasm sitting here in the locker room versus that once I walk through that curtain, you know, the thousands of people out there, you know, they're going to think that I'm the happiest freaking guy in the world.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you know, I was kind of hating going to work.
Yeah.
You know, so instead, and I tried it the other way. You know, I tried being patient and being, you know, playing by the rules and being cool and being nice. And you got to realize I was one of the oldest guys there.
Yeah.
I was one of the oldest. And I wasn't getting any younger. It's not like I was, you know, 19 to 25. I was very, you know, in my 30s, moving closer to being 40 years old.
Yep.
And here I am, you know, kind of being treated like crap and, you know, underpaid, overworked, and, you know, I really started getting to a point where I was feeling unhappy and, you know, feeling let down.
Well, I mean, from our perspective.
And yeah, that's basically, you know, why, you know, I never really thought of, it's like, I don't know, well, you know, what am I going to put down in paper, or, you know, it would be, and I don't want to sound like, this guy's like, oh, grizzled up, and now he's bitching and moaning about it, you know. And, you know, I am and I'm not, you know. I love the business, I forever will, and a part of me will always be grateful to Paul Heyman, or forever will be grateful to Todd Borden. You know, Todd and I are always cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, for the company being in existence, I will always be grateful to everyone that getting to WCW, like Kevin Sullivan, that gave my first match there, and Jody Hamilton for bringing me in and, you know, putting me on TV, and even the WWF office, and, you know, and that kind of extended my career into ECW from '93 on.
Yep.
You know, I seen the world and, you know, been there and done that, and been doing this for, well, 30 years now.
Yeah. Wow.
So, you know, part of me will always be grateful for that, but, you know, I will harbor a little bit of that. No, not a little bit, a lot of that resentment for not getting the just one little thing that
Right.
really could have helped me out.
But I mean, from
And
our
I
perspective, you know, I mean, there's positive that came out of it, and as I said, Joseph von Schmidt is carrying on what you train, you know, what you taught him onto a younger generation. He's got, you know, a lot of students, a lot of adult students, and like 2 years ago, he started a youth program And you know, as I said, my son is
Amazing.
involved in it, and you know, he's 13 now. He's been doing this for 2 years already. So by the time he gets to be
Yeah.
18, he's going to have an arsenal of training behind him, and that goes back to you. It really does. So I mean,
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, well, you know, also another thing, you know, it's like I was trying to, like a few years ago when I didn't know which way things were going to go. I mean, you know, it's a lot of things started happening, you know, from just your basic mid-age depression to to you know the body feeling like it's breaking down a little bit. So I kind of reversed all that and you know didn't let myself you know completely go to shits. So you know I started training and pushing myself above and beyond.
yep.
And you know I even now take bookings and I try to go out there and have the type of matches that I had when I was in my 20s. Except now I think a little more. Well, obviously I'm a lot more seasoned, and it's almost like I'm actually enjoying working in the ring more now than I was back in my 20s and my 30s.
Do you have anything coming up at all?
There are a bunch of shows coming up. I just did one in New York, in Queens, for ECPW, Gino Caruso. And I like working for him because I've known him for a long time. And he's an honest wrestler / promoter. I mean, you know, we have a great working relationship. So, you know, but I have a bunch of shows coming up, and it's all going to be on my Facebook. I don't have it in front of me right now.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's what I did, you know, as I started getting older. I'm in my 50s now. I just decided to now really go out there, look my best, be in the greatest condition possible, and to really start enjoying my matches, because I don't have to, there's no office anymore to tell me to, well, slow down, you know, don't go out there and, you know, do all, because I knew that if I did, it was simply going to be edited on TV and not shown, you know.
Right.
So,
Recently, we lost the man that portrayed Doink the Clown. Were you connected with that character at some point? Is there truth to that rumor?
well, okay, you know, here's what it is. There were several guys that were, that actually performed as Doink the Clown, right? Obviously, the original being Matt Bourne, and then I think Steve Lombardi, Steve Kern.
Yep.
I'm not sure there was anyone else.
Okay.
I mean, I think it was Phil Apollo? No, I'm sorry, Ray Apollo, and then other people. But I was contacted by someone in the office
Yep.
at the time,
Okay.
and they said they were tossing my name around, you know, as being one of the, you know, one of the characters, and you know, for me, it was sort of like, I didn't really, how can I put it, you know, I would be happy to have work, but I've never been a fan of characters and gimmicks.
Okay.
Wrestling, I
Fair
never
enough.
really have. I mean, I'll be perfectly honest with you. You know, especially now, you know, here it is. Especially when it's tremendous professional wrestlers like Matt Bourne, Steve
Yeah.
Kerr, you know, Lombardi.
Yep.
I mean, these guys are absolutely. I mean, you know, they're like wrestlers. You
Yep.
know.
Yep.
So, but generally speaking, I've never been a big fan of wrestlers that portray a character. Meaning, a professional wrestler should not have any other profession that he portrays in the ring other than a wrestler.
Okay.
You know, I think that, you know, when Rick Martel did the model
Yep.
gimmick, that was cool because, you know, that was kind of like, look, I'm an athlete and, you know, I'm great looking and, you know, I'm just like a model and it's almost like
Buddy Rogers.
celebrity celebrity.
Yeah.
Celebrity celebrity and it was very common for great looking athletes to be contacted by, say, advertising agencies.
Yep.
You know, so that was kind of real. You know?
Right.
For a wrestler, you know, for a wrestler to be a race car driver, in my opinion, especially someone as tremendous as Bob Holly, you know, he doesn't need it.
Right.
Right.
You know, I mean, he doesn't need that to get him over. You know, all he needs is just being Bob Holly, and he's a, you know, friggin' monster.
Right.
Uh,
Well,
you know what I mean?
that's what we see today in Ring of Honor is less characters and more in-ring action.
Right.
And you know,
Well, you know, you got to be careful with that too, because you know, then again, you have, you know, I've also seen, again, there are a lot of tremendous athletes, but I see a lot that I can't tell them apart. You understand what I mean?
yes, yeah, cookie
Because
cutter.
they all look alike. They all look alike. They all work alike. Very few, and I'm not talking about the Ring of Honor in particular. I'm talking about
Overall.
pretty much overall. Yeah, you know, very few that have the knack of cutting a promo. I mean, the promos are just like, oh my god.
Oh my goodness, we bitch about that every week. My goodness, yeah, we say that every week,
Yeah. Very, very few,
WWE
you
tends
know.
to have too many promos.
and they're not good.
Right.
You know what I really
yeah.
miss, right? And I say this all the time, is the guys like a Captain Lou or a Bobby Heenan, where if the wrestler himself couldn't get to that point where they can cut a promo yet,
Yeah.
you had a good manager that can talk in front of them. Even Sherry Martel, you know, and of course Paul Heyman, I think, is the best talker of all time. But
Yeah.
you know, I would like to see them like go back to that, where you know, like a King Kong Bundy wasn't a very vocal guy.
No.
You know, but then you had, you know, your Freddie Blassie's in the business, even Slick, you know, able to talk for somebody that wasn't quite there yet with a promo. And
And there's, you know, and there we go again. You know, you mentioned King Kong Bundy, right?
Yep.
That comes out there, and you know, I mean, just an absolute virtual monster,
Yep.
incredible wrestler out there.
Agreed.
And he's just convincing because he's so damn big, and when he walks in there, it's just amazing. So, differing looks, they're also very important. And I mean, you know, back in the day, you had the thick, muscled, Dick Slater, Manny Fernandez, Bob Sawyer.
Yeah.
These guys, you know, did not look like they were counting calories or anything like that. You know,
Right.
These were. No, you know, it doesn't matter because, you know, these guys were in shape. I mean, these guys were conditioned.
Yeah,
These
they were
guys-
lumberjacks.
These guys would go out there.
Yep.
And, you know, I mean, they were wrestlers,
Yep,
you know. And
yep.
nowadays, he's just a lot of very small guys on some, you know, good steroids and a tan. You know, and obviously they can, you know, they can jump around and they're, you know, all conditioned and, you know, hit the middle rope and then flip backwards and all that kind of thing. But I don't really see, you know, again, from what I see.
Yes.
And someone will post something for me and say, hey, Jason, you got to check this out. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, that's, you know, tremendous athleticism. But I don't really see anything that I'm wowed by.
Yeah.
You know, that someone walks in and just, you know, looks like a friggin' wrestler. Like, you know, that can just annihilate you. I'll tell you one guy that, Andrew Anderson, that's a professional wrestler because he just looks like the guy that'll come in and rip your friggin' head off.
Yep.
You know, that he just has that old school Red Valentine, Dick Slater look that, you know, he'll just go out there and destroy someone. You
Yeah.
know, and, you know, the guys like that are what's missing, and not necessarily just what you see. It's like sometimes when I see photos and when I see them in baby shows, I can't tell them apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait a minute, is this so-and-so? No, that's so-and-so. And it's almost like they're standing, and there's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
They're all talking to one another, you know. It almost looks like one of those rooms where the mirrors all around.
That's an excellent observation. Yeah, you are correct.
You know, and I mean, you know, it's just
They're almost interchangeable.
originality.
Yeah, they're almost.
Originality is absolutely gone. Originality, I mean, I see it very, very rarely, and when I do, you know, that impresses me. You know, and it's.
And it seems, I know you're not watching.
Athletes.
Yep. I know you're not
tremendous
watching the
athletes.
product at the moment, but it just seems that even when the guys come up from like a Ring of Honor or something into the WWE, right? The WWE somehow waters them down and changes their style.
They change their character or try to they don't want them to be themselves. They want to be.
And
They want them to be who the WWE wants them to be.
right, and our point being is, why did you hire this guy based on his talent, and then you're going to bury, what his strong points are?
Well, you know, I think in my opinion,
Yep.
I think that it's almost like a subtle way of bringing in, just like the way they used to bring us jobbers back in on TV, you know.
Yep.
And there were the guys that were, you see them every now and then, and you know what's gonna happen. But then there were, some of us, and thankfully I was in that category that came in looking almost like, hey, this guy's got something. You know, it's almost like you think, okay, maybe this time they're gonna give him that little push and kind of like push him over the threshold, but not. You know. And what they would do is, they would really use us to help get their future superstars over, or keep their present superstars, keep them staying over.
Right. Well, I mean, another friend in the show, I don't know if you're familiar with Mario Mancini. Mm-hmm. That was his talent in the WWF back in the day. Was to get
definitely
everybody over.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, let me tell you something. Incredible, and I talk about it all the time. And especially when you have been doing that over a long period of time for different companies. We're talking NWA, WCW, World Wrestling Federation, this one, that one. I mean, that's a great responsibility because you are given. You're given that responsibility, and you are shown the respect and the trust from the company, or by the company, that you will and you can go out there and get that person over.
Yes.
Or, like I said, keep that guy over.
Yep.
That is already established. I mean, I almost feel that they're doing that with the guys they bring in.
Yeah.
Because from what I hear, they give them a push here and there and everything, and then all of a sudden they just completely not squash him, they mash him.
Yeah.
They mash him, they crash him, and from what I see, that I think that about 95% of these young former superstars that have wrestled for a period of time in the World Wrestling Entertainment Company can't even get booked out there in the Indies anymore, because it's almost like after they pushed them out, they just absolutely, like I said, they melted them down into just a mess of crude material.
Right. Agreed.
So that's basically. I mean, I think that's what they do, because they have their several guys that they make money on.
Yeah, for whatever reason, they're behind
Right.
a handful of guys, and everybody else kind of gets fallen by the wayside.
Well, I think it's all about merchandise.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about, really, it has nothing to do with anything, you know.
Well, it's
Always
business.
want people-
It's it's a business now, and as you said, it's a multi-billion-dollar business, and they have investors
Yeah.
like myself to answer to.
Yeah.
And and unfortunately, it's just the nature of surviving. And Vince McMahon has proven that hook or by crook, he's going to survive, and not only that, take out everybody else in his path.
Right.
Well, I mean, that's, listen, I guess we all have a way of doing business, and, I mean, I don't know. Who am I to say what price a person like that pays ultimately?
Yeah.
Maybe nothing at all. Maybe that's the right way. I don't know, It may not seem right to me because, I've seen things done in a business that never really had to take that path.
Right, right. And,
Really,
we mourn the loss of the territory system because you had different styles and you had different choices on, like, who you can watch and who you can root for. And now it just seems to be like the monster that WWE has become, and they're telling you who to like and telling you who to root for.
Yeah.
And, it's kind of taking the choices away from the fans, and it kind of waters it down.
The fans, though, they tend to rebel. Like with Roman
Well,
Reigns.
that's why, well, that's why, being a fan of the business,
Yeah.
I refused to watch it. I mean, it was, that was my choice because, the way that started happening was, I would watch it and I would really, try to watch every product, or every brand, or, however they phrase it these days,
Yeah.
And when it got to the point where I was already annoying myself by how much I was hating on the product,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just not going to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Because it really started annoying me, bothering me, and then, the people around me would be like, okay, there he goes again, and it's irate, and,
but the
I was
funny
like,
thing.
you know what?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna simply, you guys want to watch it, I'm just gonna, ignore it, or I'll go in the next room, or,
It's funny because, like I mentioned Mario, and Mario has almost the same attitude as you do. He doesn't watch the product. He's not interested in it. It's not the same wrestling as he was involved in, nor is it what we grew up with. Mm-hmm. So, he's lost the interest in the current state of the WWE product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I actually back then, when I was breaking in, was following the best I could, different products in different territories because there was no cable TV,
Right.
and following through the magazines, and we were lucky enough sometimes we could get tapes.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
tapes from territories. However, we did have the power of the great Jeff antenna,
Yeah.
That wasn't too bad because I was able to see Florida, for instance.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I remember. I still have a box of the old VHS.
Yeah.
From all over the country, and you'd find somebody through like the back of PWI or something, and send him 10 tapes. He sends you 10 different tapes, and and then you get 10 more, and it was just a lot of fun.
Well, New York, because I lived in New York in the city area.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty strong market for wrestling was quite popular.
Yes. Yeah.
You could follow a few different territories, like Florida, definitely, which is my favorite of all time.
Yeah.
Then Georgia, and of course Mid-South, Texas, and California, over Los Angeles, and then once in a while they would show something else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still cannot get over doing TV in a studio.
Yeah.
In front of a tight crowd, and everything is done. Everything less is more, less is more, less is more. That to me is the magic of the product. Versus why don't we just invest $10,000
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, saying that it's going to squash the bar, you know, no one's ever going to see him again.
It's more show than it is wrestling.
Right.
Yeah, so, you know, to me, I don't really, I mean, this guy will really take a lot of brain and talent. No, it just takes, you know, writing a check. Oh, I want to see the pyro and all that.
Right.
That to me, I'm not really very impressed with any of that. I mean, I think that when, you know, back then when the Undertaker first came in,
Yep.
Of course.
Yep.
wrestlers that would have that special, and you would wait for it, when the Undertaker comes out,
Right.
and the fire when Kenny did that thing, and then, the explosion.
Yes.
Now it's almost like,
No, everybody has it.
Right.
everyone has it.
It's not special anymore. I agree. But
Pyro doesn't make for a good broadcast.
yeah, exactly. But we really appreciate you calling in. We're going to have to wrap it up in a moment, but I want to give you an opportunity. Is there something that you're working on, something you got coming up, or a website that we can follow you on?
Well, my Facebook is one, and I'm also working on a fitness page. It's just Jason Knight Athlete, and I've very big into fitness, and I'm going to be putting out some training routines and different videos and DVDs, and I'm working on that. So, just doing my best to take care of my health right now.
Yeah, well,
That the health
again,
is number one, yeah.
I know we haven't met in person, but the power. I truly believe in the power of prayer, and we're definitely behind you 100%. And hopefully you'll get that fitness stuff together and call us back and tell us where we can, where we can get it.
Definitely. Well, it's all connected to my Facebook.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
We'll have to look for you on there.
Otherwise, I'll just see you all down the road, and hopefully we'll have a great time.
Excellent.
Definitely.
Take care of the health.
Yep.
And I'm planning God willing, by the summer to be, back to my normal self.
Yep.
And just, back to even better than ever, I hope.
Yep.
So,
Well,
thank you very much for having me with all of you tonight.
thank you. Thank you very
Definitely.
much. Jason Knight, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Knight, thank you very, very
It was
much.
a pleasure, sir.
Have a good evening, sir.
Thank you very much.
All right, good
Take it
night.
easy.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Thank you. That was fantastic.
That was amazing.
That was really
Thank
fantastic.
you very, very much, sir.
That was really, really great.
My allergies, thank you.
But yeah, Raw was Raw. But we just got this in, courtesy of the WWF, and just came out today, Ultimate Warrior, Always Believe.
Right.
It's got highlights from his 2014 Hall of Fame, backstage, him reconnecting with a lot of the superstars and the people that he hadn't seen in quite some time.
They
and,
gave a preview of that on the network after Raw.
Correct.
Last night.
And it's just a fantastic set. And
Right.
inscribed here is guys. It's shows like yours and people like you that keep the Ultimate Warrior's legacy alive. And couldn't thank you enough. Love, Dana Warrior. So she autographed that for us, and we thank the folks over at the WWE out
Right.
in Stanford
Absolutely.
here.
Absolutely.
Always looking out for us, sending us some swag, so we definitely appreciate it. And this will be on our DVD players immediately following the show.
I think so.
So we thank you to Dana Warrior and everyone at WWE for hooking us up,
Right.
thinking of us all the time.
Yeah.
Jason Knight, wow, that was
That was amazing.
I mean,
I was sort of expecting him to call.
yeah.
But I mean, hey, I appreciate it. I was not in any rush to get him off the line. that's
No,
for sure.
not at all. And
Absolutely
he's a very humble guy,
Right.
and I don't think he realizes that especially in Connecticut, right here at our home our home turf, that you've got Velvet Sky, who's still out there and now currently with Northeast Wrestling, and you can catch her at least once a month in our area. Joseph Von Schmidt, as I said, is carrying on the legacy, and from Johnny Rods to Jason Knight to Joseph Von Schmidt to the kids that are in the youth program now.
Yeah.
So, his legacy, he may not, as humble as he was, he may not have been, a Hulk Hogan,
No.
tier or Ultimate Warrior tier. But you know what? You don't have to be.
You need the training from somebody that knows what they're doing,
Right.
that has the experience and the knowledge.
And a lot of times,
you don't have to get trained by Hulk Hogan.
correct.
Yeah.
And a lot of times the students surpass the master, and his legacy is definitely solid and enshrined and entrenched
Right.
in the next generation, and hopefully the generation behind that. So it was just a great guy to talk to, and couldn't thank Jason Knight enough. And as I said, being at PWA and having Joseph von Schmidt, always saying that this is Jason Knight's style. This is what I learned from him. And it's, as I said, it just comes down from one generation to the next. And as humble as he was, I really hope he realizes that the lives that he touched are now touching every the
So
generation
perhaps
after.
one day in another 30, 35 years or whatever, maybe
Jake-
less than that, Jacob will be going, this is what Joseph von Schmidt taught me.
Right.
To the new group of people
Correct.
coming.
Right.
Right.
And and carry on the legacy.
And the television title will be in a glass case somewhere.
Yeah.
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 That's from my dad's old show. Yeah. Maybe we're still on. Who knows?
30 years from now, my goodness.
Right.
John Cena will still be doing the 5 moves of
He
doom.
probably will.
Oh my! And then we'll still be.
Hogan and Flair will still be around.
Yeah, Hogan and Flair. yeah. A wheelchair walker and a cane match.
Right? The respirator on a pool match. It's scheduled for one fall.
Right. I've fallen and I can't get up.
I'm falling and I can't.
Sponsored by that little beeper thing.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Life alert. There it is.
Life alert. Life alert.
But
Exactly.
yeah, what a great show. Completely unexpected that we would be on with him for that much time.
I know. Yeah, and what I'll do is later on when I get back to my palatial estate, I'll all the stuff I have here, notes. I'll
Right.
definitely send links up onto the Squared Circle page.
Yeah, and we also got a message from our super fan, Bill from North Haven. He's out of town at the moment, but
Right.
he wished us well, and hopefully we'll see him next week, or hear from him next week. And Dangerous Dan, we
Right.
send you out all the all the love in the world, man. Get better.
Definitely.
And I'm feeling it too, man. It's
Right.
been a rough couple weeks for myself, but
Rough couple weeks for yourself,
Yeah.
and you're working hard.
yeah,
Or not as hard.
not as hard now, but.
But you know.
Yeah, I got to rehab this and shoulder straightened out and get my neck straightened out, but
Yep.
it's coming along. We'll get there.
I have to go to the drugstore and get some real good strong allergy medication.
There you go.
Because I have a lot of races I want to be out running this year.
Yep.
And I want to do well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's my favorite time. My two favorite seasons are
But
spring
the
and
other thing,
summer.
the one other thing I wanted to mention is that if you go on our Facebook group, I was at Fenway Park yesterday, and they kept
Right.
announcing my name over the loudspeaker system. They kept saying Zimmerman.
I know.
And I really thank the guys at Fenway Park for that. But I took a picture of myself in the clubhouse with my PWA shirt on, and I think we should start that trend. Post a picture of yourself at a famous landmark or
I have to
an
get myself
unusual
the
occasion.
I have to get myself a
with
PWA jacket.
PWA shirt, and let's see how many different spots that we can locate with somebody wearing with PWA,
That's great.
just for ha-has.
I got to get one of those blue jackets too.
Hey, mine says TV title on it, so
Wow.
I have the official one.
I got to get one myself. I'll have to talk to him about that.
No steam today.
No steam
because,
today. But we got to wrap it up though.
Got to mention American Steam, 10 on down there.
Definitely.
If you can, give them some love. They give us love. 92 Quinnipiac Street, Wallingford. 7 days a week, brother.
06492.
Got to eat 7 days a week. Why not try that?
Exactly. I'm Hollywood J. Williams. Good night. Good luck. We'll see you next Tuesday. And stay tuned to the Facebook page later on for news and info.